can call me Mystic Mike because I predict these things.
Tereza Bleda takes on Jamey-Lyn Horth this Saturday. And this is a very evenly matched fight. I'm going to be honest, I'm not terribly impressed with either of these ladies. You know, Tereza Bleda, fairly young into her career, only 24 years old, 7-1. Her only loss coming against Natalia Silva back in 2022, so a little over 3 years ago. And Jamey-Lyn Horth made her pro debut back in 2018. She's 35 years old, still 8-2, so not tons of experience between either of these ladies. I'm not very impressed by any of their performances, to be honest. I feel like there's been kind of holes in their performances. They've, you know, went to some sketchy decisions, had some not the most impressive performance over some subpar competition. And Bleda's young, you know, she's been away for a while, so I imagine she'll come back looking much better than I've seen her in the past, because she is young. She's gonna be making drastic improvements. But she's been out of the cage since June of 2023, so about 2.5 year hiatus, pulled out of a couple fights. Casey O'Neill, Jamey-Lyn Horth back in June of this year, so going to be a little bit rusty heading into this one against Jamey-Lyn Horth, who has been the much more active fighter. And I have to base my decision off of Bleda and kind of how she's looked so far in her career, and not kind of what the improvements I think that she'll make given her time off and her age. I think she's going to be the bigger fighter, you know, 5'9" with a 71-inch reach against Jamey-Lyn Horth, who's 5'7" with a 66-inch reach. So she's going to be 2 inches taller and have a 5-inch reach advantage. But I wouldn't say that she's the most talented striker in the world to be able to take advantage of a 5-inch reach advantage. And I think that Jamey-Lyn Horth, she's just got more experience in the UFC. Again, been much more active. I think that Tereza Bleda, she has to get this fight to the ground in order to win. And I think that Jamey-Lyn Horth, although she has shown some chinks in the armor in terms of the grappling and the wrestling, I think that she's got pretty solid takedown defense. It's 76%. And so I think that she'll be able to kind of negate and mitigate the offensive wrestling coming her way from Tereza Bleda and get this one done by decision. I know that Jamey-Lyn Horth in the past, something that she struggled with is her kick game. Good body kicks, good high kicks, but she throws the body kicks and she kind of throws them lazily. They're not the fastest, and she struggles with people catching the kicks and getting takedowns. I've seen that repeatedly in her fights in the UFC, which is concerning because Tereza Bleda, she was having success catching the kicks of Gabriela Fernandez, getting her to the ground and winning that fight via control time. Jamey-Lyn Horth, I saw it like 4 times. The stats didn't show that. I think they showed Haley Cowan only get like 2 takedowns, but she caught like 4 kicks or knees to get Jamey-Lyn Horth to the ground. We saw it against Veronica Hardy. We saw it against Ivana Petrovic. We saw it against Miranda Maverick. So it just doesn't look like something that she's learning from, and especially during the fight, not learning from to avoid. And we didn't see it in the Demopoulos fight, but it just looked like, you know, seeing it over 4 straight fights, it's just concerning that she hasn't really picked up on that mistake and, you know, looked to kind of make improvements and adapt, because it seemed like in a lot of her fights that was really the only way that she was getting taken down. She was doing a good job of digging under hooks and defending takedowns, but they just kept catching the kicks and getting her to the ground. It was also concerning in her fight with Ivana Petrovic, in a fight that she lost, which isn't a good look in hindsight. Ivana Petrovic just lost to Juliana Miller, and she lost that fight by split decision. Very close fight, but Ivana Petrovic was able to get like the headlock takedown, tossed her onto the ground. She gave up a couple takedowns to Miranda Maverick. She gave up a few to Haley Cowan, one to Veronica Hardy, who's more of a striker, so she can be taken down. She does give up takedowns. And I also see some mistakes on the ground, kind of rushes sequences, rushes to get the back, loses position, just getting too high, falling off the top. But then I also feel like she does a good job of threatening submissions off her back, scrambling her way back up to her feet, winning scrambles, winning transitions to where she's ending up on top. She's a jiu-jitsu brown belt. She had some pretty sneaky armbar attempts in some of her fights. And I think that Jamey-Lyn Horth is just a little bit more polished on the feet. You know, I think she's more physical while in close in the clinch with her elbows and her knees. She's just much more busy while she's in the clinch, defending takedowns. And I think that she'll be the one kind of pressuring forward, keeping Bleda on the back foot, not allowing her to time her takedowns. And I think that she can also offensively wrestle too. She's got decent wrestling, decent takedowns. And although she is the better striker in my opinion, I don't think she's amazing on the feet. She likes to move forward, but at times not putting a lot of volume out there or really damaging her opponents. And I would say that about, you know, her previous fights, but in her last fight against Demopoulos, she was having a lot of success on the feet. She looked much better and was landing some really good strikes on Demopoulos, where she was kind of in trouble there at some points in time. But then again, that's against Vanessa Demopoulos, who I'm not the highest on, to be honest. But regardless of Jamey-Lyn Horth's deficiencies on the feet, I do like how she stays busy. I do like that, how she's pushing forward, looking to be one dictating the fight. And we've seen Tereza Bleda struggle on the feet. Natalia Silva was tuning her up, finished her with the spinning back kick in the 3rd round, I think it was, while Bleda was level changing for a takedown. She was throwing strikes just really out of range, nowhere close to Gabriela Fernandez. Was keeping her chin up in the air, was starting to get kind of teed off on, and the 3rd round of that fight was saved by her being able to get a takedown against Gabriela Fernandez. So I like Jamey-Lyn Horth's activity. I think that she's a little bit more well-rounded. I think that she's not the better pure wrestler, but I do like her ability in the grappling and wrestling department to stay safe against somebody like Tereza Bleda. I think that she's going to be the better striker. I think she's got the better experience against decent competition. Veronica Hardy, Haley Cowan, Miranda Maverick. That's some decent competition. I liked how she was able to stick in there with Haley Cowan, who's the bigger, more physical fighter. I liked how she was able to go tit for tat with her in the grappling department. And that gives me a lot of confidence that she'll be able to do the same thing against the bigger fighter in Bleda. And I think that Horth has better cardio. We saw Bleda struggle with her cardio against Silva in that 1st round, kind of getting beat up on the feet. They had a few grappling transitions. She started to kind of gas as the fight progressed. You saw it in the 2nd round. She got finished in the 3rd. And I think that if she does get takedowns or works in the clinch, I think that Horth is going to make her work. I think she'll have to work a lot to hold her down. I think the Horth's going to be working her way back up to the feet. It's going to be up and down. And I think that Bleda will start to slow down, not be able to kind of continue shooting and chaining her wrestling sequences together. Her hands will start to drop, and I think that Horth will start to open up a little bit more on the feet. Also, regardless of how fast-paced this fight is or where it takes place, I haven't really seen Horth struggle with her cardio at all. You know, she's hard to get out of there. She's hard to finish. She never stops pushing forward. And I think she's going to be just a little bit too much on the feet for Tereza Bleda. And again, I know she's been out of it for a while. She could come back and, you know, have made leaps and bounds in her skill set, but I trust Jamey-Lyn Horth to just be the one to kind of be pressuring her, making it hard for her to attempt takedowns. If she does get takedowns on Horth, she's able to scramble back up, get to her feet, make her work, damage in the clinch, damage in the striking altogether. Hopefully learns from the body kick issues and not letting those get caught, but I think that she'll be landing the better strikes on the feet, making it very gritty, making Tereza Bleda fight on the feet where she's not that comfortable, not letting her have a lot of success or control time when it does go to the ground. And I think she gets this one done by decision. Thanks.